I remember it being the last day of school before summer break, when things started to go downhill for the residents of my town. I was sitting in class, taking my third period final exam, when the rain started to pour heavily. I looked out the window, watching as these small drops of rain smear onto the glass window. I was already done with my test, waiting for everybody else in the class to finish, as a lady on the intercom came on to say, "Attention, students and staff. We are currently having a terrible storm on this summer afternoon, and we advise you to be safe when returning back to your homes. If you don't have a ride, remember to contact your parents to remind them that school is letting out early due to the exam periods. Thank you all and have an awesome summer." I stayed in my seat and played on my phone until the bell rang. I was about to be an up-and-coming junior in my school, which meant I would be considered an upperclassman within just a couple of months. When the bell rang, my next class was chemistry. Afterwards, when the class period was finished, we could return home or stay at school. But we all knew the teachers just wanted us gone after that, so they wouldn't have to deal with us anymore for a few months. Halfway through my exam, the same lady came onto the intercom again to explain, "Hello students and teachers. We are going to be extending this class period for a little bit longer today. Due to weather concerns, we will be staying in each classroom until the rain clears up. Don't worry, this will not affect the rest of your schedule for the rest of the day. I hope everybody has a good summer." I thought to myself, this is great. I had previously made plans with my friends to hang out after school, and I had to be home at my certain time. I prayed that it wouldn't interfere too much, and hoped this didn't plan on lasting forever. When everybody was finished with their test, my teacher decided to put a movie on to pass the time. We ended up watching Inside Out, which was my favorite Pixar movie. After a while, I could tell everybody was starting to get concerned. The rain and thunder were not easing up, and I wanted to get home. One kid went over to the window, watching the rain as it hit the ground harshly, and some others gathered around the back of the classroom by the lab desk to chat. I stayed in my seat. I'm a shy kid who most usually ignore. You might say that I'm kind of a loner. While everybody else was doing their own thing, I decided to lay my head on my desk and rest my eyes for a second. That was what most kids sitting at the normal desk were doing anyways. I wasn't out for long. I checked my phone beforehand. It read 10:41 a.m. The movie played. Some of the kids talked, and my teacher was sitting at her desk doing nothing. It all seemed normal, doesn't it? When I woke back up, it was almost 12 p.m., and the classroom was completely empty. All the lights were cut off, and the projector screen from my teacher's computer was still on. I looked around. The rain had stopped outside, but where was everybody? I had a good friend in the class, Jeremy. I called his phone, but he didn't answer. I then proceeded to call my parents, but both went straight to voicemail. I wondered, was school finally let out? But why did nobody bother to wake me up? Don't worry, somebody will get their payback next school year. I opened the classroom door. The lights from the hallway were shut off, and there was barely any light coming from these small windows that shined into that hallway. I took out my phone and turned on my flashlight for a light. I checked some of the classrooms. Nobody was there. I yelled out into the hallway, but still, I didn't get a response. I roamed down one of the hallways where the fine arts classes are. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw. So many of the windows and doors were destroyed, as if a big group of people had stormed out of school and finding any way they could and turning it into an escape route. I suddenly heard a voice. It was faint but still detectable. It was back in the art room. A girl was standing in the windowsill, staring out into the parking lot. I knew who she was. Her name was Grace. She was quiet and sweet. That's what I liked about her. She was sort of an outcast like me. Neither of us really found our cliques at this place. "Hey Grace, is that you? It's me, Parker. What happened to everybody? It's like everybody just disappeared." She didn't respond for a couple of seconds, but turned around, got off the windowsill, and turned back around to face me. "They are all gone," she states. "It was like everybody in the room started to float, and they flew up into the sky." I didn't know what Grace was talking about, nor was I gonna fall for this joke that she was saying. Grace starts walking closer towards me. "We have to leave. Everybody's gone. They will come and get us next if we don't get the heck out of here." Grace starts to push on me. I could tell that she wanted to move, but I didn't. "Look, Parker, I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, I will not be a part of it. I saw these things outside. They were surrounding the school. I wasn't sure what exactly they were, but I need to show you." The thing about Grace was she never begged to do anything with somebody unless it involved setting them up for something dangerous. There was once a time when she found a way to manipulate a girl named Aria, who had recently moved into our town. Aria and Grace spent a lot of time together, and one day, Grace tried to get Aria to go down to a popular lake, just a few miles away from our school. But the thing was, Aria wasn't a very good swimmer, and ended up almost drowning, while just trying to impress her cool new friend. After that, Aria wasn't seen much, and rumors about Grace potentially trying to kill her shot up around the school. I told her I was staying inside until I knew what was happening. She was upset and ran out of the art room without saying another word to me. I followed her to see where she was going. She ran to the end of the hallway and vigorously opened the outside doors to the opening hallway. I could hear her start to yell, "I'm free! I'm free! Take me home! Take me from this hell we call Earth!" Suddenly, this supernatural, star-telling, and horrifying-looking creature merged from above and captured Grace. From a distance, I was able to get a good look at it. Its eyes, they were huge and blue. It had extremely small lips, but when it opened its mouth, it appeared to have a strangely crooked smile. Small ears, no nose, and a dysmorphed body that is too much to explain. This thing didn't see me, but I feared that it would come for me next. It took Grace and flew off. I was confused and I even pinched myself a couple of times. There were so many questions venturing through my head. Was Grace behind all of this? Was the reason this horrible storm came because of her? And more importantly, what was that thing flying in the sky that had captured her? I kept my distance in that moment. I was afraid of what that thing could do to me. I walked around the rest of that school, but yet again, I couldn't find a single person. That was until I had to make the brave decision to escape. At this point, it was almost 5 p.m., and nobody, my friends or parents, had reached out. I was starving and I needed to get home. So I walked outside. It was still raining, but it felt as if my fear had been numbed, and I hurried out to my car. But I was quickly stopped by a strangely ungodly, inhuman scream. I should have just kept running to my car, but I didn't. Instead, I turned around, coming face to face with the same creature that had taken Grace. It stared at me, but didn't touch me. It was probably at least 6 feet from me, but didn't come any closer. This thing had hands like humans, and reached out from its behind and took out a piece of paper. It looked like a note. There was writing at least, and the creature placed the paper on the concrete, and then it walked away. As it turned around, it made another startling noise, just like the one it made a couple minutes ago. I watched it, but when it wasn't in my distance anymore, I unlocked my car and I slammed the door shut. I threw my belongings into the back seat, and I sat, looked out my windows, trying to come to terms with what just happened. I forgot to mention I also picked up the note when the thing had walked away. I pulled it out and I decided to read it. But what I found out, I could never come to terms with. Greetings, human. I want to say congratulations. You have survived the first round of our taking process. I know you have seen us, and I know what you might be thinking. We are not harmful creatures, but we prefer to be called the captors. It's very much to explain, but we are not here to cause issues with the humankind. There are things of this world you may not understand. Yet I cannot explain right now to you what I am. But allow me to say that I will be back in the near future. I cannot tell you when, but it will be in your lifetime. I know your name is Parker Davidson. You live at 3462 Elm Street with your parents and a dog named Harley. You are not one to talk, and that is why you have been chosen to be free in this process. But I must give you a warning though. Next time you see heavy rain, just like what has happened today. Don't be alarmed. If you hear these screams from a distance, don't be afraid. You are being protected in this process. The only rule is, you cannot explain or tell anybody about what you have seen today. This is your warning.